Hello again. Welcome back. I'm back again with another video whereby I'll be talking about don't wait for them. Don't wait for anybody. Don't fucking wait for anybody. Let me just don't wait for anyone. So this video it's about don't wait for anyone. There's no such a thing as waiting for someone. Okay, I get it. Sometimes you just know maybe you need to have patience, you need to have some sort of like use discernment, okay? So just use discernment, but in some situation you gonna encounter a lot of people who are actually wanna take advantage of the fact that you're supposed to be waiting for them. And most of the time it's usually the most toxic people that you will ever encounter, because they're trying to make you feel bad about your involvement. They're trying to make you feel bad about you outgrowing a situation, relationship, or whatsoever. So this video is about you don't wait for them. It may seem like selfish, but sometimes you need to be selfish. You need to be selfish, but your selfishness, your selfish, your selfish, your selfishness, it's not supposed to be that kind of selfishness that is actually causing harm to other people. Obviously, they may feel hurt, may feel rejected by your decision to move forward without them, but you do not own them anything. You don't owe them some sort of whatsoever. So selfishness is whereby you're putting yourself first, but at the same time you are aware of other people. You're being considerate, you're being compassionate to other individuals. You show kindness, but at the same time you know that you need your time. You need to do things individually. You need to do this on your own. You need to let go of this, even including people. So don't wait for anyone. This on and off relationship, it's so for example, maybe you're in an on and off relationship with a friend or mother or family members whatsoever. You keep on rotating this cycle whereby you're going on and off with them. So I'm just thinking of on and off by Eka Badu, whatever. So doing that relationship, it's like the on and off relationship with people. It can be like baking, né? So sometimes there are certain recipe or some certain yeah, recipe whereby you cooking. I don't know which I'm not like knowledgeable about baking, but it's the same thing as baking. Some food, when you choose to turn it off while it's not yet cooked, it will never be cooked. Like the whole donga thing won't be the best. Like the minute it's turned off whereby it's not yet cooked, it will never give you the result that you actually want. It's the same thing with relationship. If you keep on pressing on and off, whether it's a kettle on and off, turning kettle on and off, it will take time obviously to warm the water to boil or warm up, because of what you keep on turning it on and off. It's more like you know that something is off, but you constantly want it to be turned on. It's the same thing with relationship with people. There's certain like food that you cannot recook with the same method of on and off. It's like that with certain relationship. That relationship that could be like, it's better if we're both away from each other, and as we're away from each other, we're working individually to be the best for ourselves, in order to be able to interconnect with you, to be interdependent with one another. So you know those relationships can work, but they're actually relationship that you can say like, this on and off, it's not helping. This on and off, it's not supposed to be happening in the first place. I remember, like, it's very hard to let go of a relationship whereby there was not like a massive toxicity, or the kind of toxicity whereby you'd be like, she had me like she like you'll be like you because eventually when we're in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or romantic relationship, there's a high possibility you're gonna get hurt in it. Like there's no such a thing just because you're in a relationship with someone it's gonna be smooth forever. There's no such a thing. I don't believe in that. But there's kind of like of pain that you can actually avoid by entertaining certain person. For example, okay, I'm just gonna talk this about my ex lesbian friend. She was actually not like massive, like she was the kind of a friend that I had to let go of just because energetically we're not vibrating anymore. And at the same time, I actually hate her on and off tendency. She was that kind of a person who was actually 1 minute she's in my life, 1 minute she's not in my life. She was also introverted, so we tend to like switch. But for me it was not the kind of off whereby I just act like they don't exist. I was off, but I would never act like my friend don't exist. She was acting like we don't exist. 1 minute she has a new number or whatsoever, and I'm like, what the fuck? So eventually I was like, you know what, I need to detach from it. But she eventually will come back because at the time I was having struggling with letting go of people who never been extremely toxic to me. Instead, the relationship was on and off, and it was not um, evolving. Yes, she was that kind of a person whereby you left her, or maybe you stopped talking to her, but when you meet her again, she'll be a different person. She will be a changed person. You someone that you could not recognize. That was one of the things that made me stay for long with her. Is because she was not the kind of person that you can find being the same. She was evolving. Was she had like a lot of uh being capable. She was very much capable of growing to be someone that you cannot recognize. She was able to be like everything that a friend can be. It's just that most of the time I feel like whenever I'm around her I get like drained. And I know how hard it is to let go of a relationship whereby it was not extremely toxic, but at the same time you need to understand that it's okay to let them go. Because this on and off, every time whenever I'm speaking my truth, she disappeared. She won't even like show any emotion. She would be hard to be read, and I wouldn't understand why she keep on doing that. And at the same time I didn't know whether she was angry at me or maybe she was having a hard time to actually, because I was not aggressive. I've never been aggressive with the way I speak when it comes to a relationship that I'm in. I'm always try by all means to be assertive with whenever I'm actually having this kind of conversations that are actually considered hard. But I like this on and off, it was something that I'm not tolerating. It was something that I know that I don't need to entertain it anymore. So it was hard to let go of her because she was not like, not kind of the horrible one, not giving me the bad ideas or whatsoever. She was not like that. It's just that when I speak my truth, I felt like I was not safe to speak my truth because she would disappear. She made me feel so bad. The thing is with you understanding people, understanding where they come from, understanding their trauma, understanding all of that, it will make you think that you are, you can stay around, you can justify their behavior, you can justify this and that. Yes, I wish I was more assertive with her more than like any, but at the same time I felt like I tried. It's just that it was not meant to happen. So it's something like that, waiting for people to be around you, waiting for your mother to love you, waiting for your father to actually be present, to be emotionally available, waiting for your ex or whoever, a friend or a boyfriend, or husband or wife, to be there for you in any manner, especially if you did talk about things that you actually want the relationship to be about, whereby you did mention things that you actually want to change in a relationship. Probably you like you put what exactly you need from the relationship, how you want to be treated, you being assertive, you and your boundaries and all of that, and they choose not to make any changes because eventually you're not supposed to have like a timeline or so, because I like to believe that people grow differently. They grow in their own timing and whatsoever. As much as they grow in their own timing, you should be aware of when a person hear you or hear you and they're making those changes, because those changes can make, like, it can take time, and it's not something like you like and then, like, they're not supposed to jump, or look, they need to have their time to think about it. They are humans, they need to process everything on their own. But at the same time, don't be like stupid waiting, because some people can take advantage of your tendency of constantly waiting for them. Because that friend knew that I fuck with her, like, very, like, I fuck it with her deeply. She knew that I can wait for her. She took the advantage. She took advantage that I can actually understand her. But when I finally, like, let go of her, and was like, I'm glad I did, because she started acting weird. Like, she was stalking me. She was the way I see it, probably there's a high possibility that she had feelings for me. But at the same time, I just pushed that thought away, because the way she was acting, like, she was stalking me. She wanted me to be in her life. She was, she tried by all means to find me in every app, including to change, to delete her whatsoever account, to create another one in order to be able to have us. Like, it was just horrible. I just didn't like her energy at all. Like, part of me was glad that I let her go, because at the time she was not showing those signs. And eventually, when I stopped talking to her, she started acting weird, like trying to reach me out in almost every app that she can find me on. So it was horrible. It just, like, it went horrible. So things like that. So you're not supposed to wait for anyone. You're not supposed to just justify, just because we understand people, understand their trauma. We're observant. You observant. You are more like a counselor. You can, like, counsel people. You understand. Like, it doesn't justify the fact that you have to wait for anybody. You are not like a on and off relationship. I don't believe in them. I just don't. Whenever a relationship is off, is off. There was a time whereby my ex, I think we on and off like 3 times, and I just like, what the fuck? I never in my life tolerate such behavior, and I'm not gonna start now. Like, I just, like, it was more like a rude wake up call. I'm like, what? Like, I've been doing this with this guy like for 3 times, we on and off, and the more I think about, I've done nothing to this guy. It's just that I was tolerating someone who disappeared for a week and act like there was something happening at home, or act like there was something's going on. And I have to be like understanding. That problem with understanding, it's okay to understand people, but you still have to disagree with whatever. It's okay to understand people, but you don't have to agree with them. Like, okay, I understand, but you don't have to agree with them. So that ex did that. He would, like, he disappear for 2 days. He make it like I think the lame excuse he ever made was he was out for meditation. And I was like, so when you're meditating, you don't see the need to contact me for 3 days, and you're just gonna disappear. Even if I try to call you, you act like, Maya, I didn't call, or like you didn't put any effort to be like, I'm not gonna be available, so and so and so and so. Instead, I had to find out when I finally be with you in person. So it was just horrible. Like, I knew that I need to stop making excuses for this guy. I need to stop doing this, because I remember how he said something. The thing is, when we leaving people, when we're angry, you have a tendency of going back to them. Like, you will go back to them, because why? You didn't leave when you were calm. You didn't leave because but you just left because you were hurting. There's nothing wrong with leaving when you're hurting. Don't get me wrong. It's just that when I'm looking back, it was the first time in my life I actually felt so stupid with my decision. It was kind of like embarrassing, because I'm not the kind of person like going back to things when I'm actually like, I'm over it, like it's done, done, done. So it was kind of embarrassing in a sense, because I remember saying like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And me giving him a chance, and I was like, it's because I'm angry. When I was no longer angry, like the third time, I just knew that I'm gone, because he was trying, like, he tried like so hard in terms of like trying to get back with me. And I was like my soul was at peace. Like, it felt so right. It was just timing. Like it was more like I'm more courageous. It's more like I'm more myself than ever. It was just something that I knew it's yeah, it feels right, but at the same time I'm still hurting. So I was like, I'm okay with myself being hurting than constantly doing this thing, because it was mentally draining, emotionally, spiritual. It was not just productive. And not only that, I was trying for all by all means to make the relationship work. It's not like I did something wrong. It's not like I ghosted him. It's not like I lied to him. It's not like I make excuses whatsoever. It's not like I did like anything wrong with this relationship. The only thing that I did wrong is me ignoring the sign. It's me not acknowledging the sign, trying to turn the blind eye on it. And that was my wrong. It was me being wrong to constantly allow this on and off thing to be constantly be happening. Because why? The fact that I have to entertain something like that, that means I need to heal. Because like everybody you're gonna meet, everybody that you're gonna meet, they're gonna help you to evolve, or they're gonna help you to, I don't know. Because for me, it was more like evolving, whether through pain or through whatsoever. But I don't believe that you only have to grow through pain, but it's part of the process. Because most of the things that are happening in ourselves, they happen most of the best thing that actually happen in ourselves most of the time, they happen through pain. Us having wisdom, like pain most of the time bring wisdom, bring a lot of light, bring a lot of new ways of doing things, new perspective. Pain sometimes push us back to us follow to connect with our soul again. If you are the person who ended up disconnecting with yourself, you are pushed to go back to yourself. You are pushed to do things in your soul more than way how you used to do things. It push you to um focus on yourself, because there are a lot of manifestation through pain. A lot of people, obvious, sometimes you're gonna, some people, or a lot of people including me, like initially, because the pain was too massively, like it was so painful, eventually I went for alcohol. But I knew that eventually I would have to face my pain, because I can't always run away from myself forever. And I missed myself, because I realized ever since I had that heartbreak, I avoid being around myself. I'm avoiding to be in my room, and I constantly be out or doing it whatsoever, which I don't even know what I was doing. But I knew that I'm avoiding this kind of thing, and I can't run away forever. So things like that. So you're not supposed to wait for anyone. You're not supposed to wait for anything. Oh yeah, you suppose. But the thing is, with you waiting, the manifestation will never happen whereby you are still in a phase whereby you feel like you need to wait. Anything that needs you to wait most of the time, like for example, a lot of things happen in our life, like the good things, when we stop even thinking about it. Because manifestation is like that. Probably, I remember, I'm just gonna say something like, I applied for something in April 2021, and eventually when I applied for it, I was very desperate. Like very desperate. So I applied for it, and my goal there, well, it was about money. So when I applied for it, it like eventually, like the first 4 months, I was kind of attached to it. I was attached to it to the point that I couldn't like think. I was thinking about it, like I was thinking, because the money was good and whatsoever. But when it came back, like it came back like April, like a year after. When it came back, I still had like, I felt like, okay, my finances still need some boost, but do I still need this? Like, do I really like in like, because that thing that I was to do, it was gonna be something that will affect, like, for me, like for the rest of my life. In terms of like, I'm constantly thinking about it. As much as money was good, I knew that my principles and my value are not aligned with this kind of manifestation. As much as it brought back after a year, I knew this is not something that I actually need to put myself into, because like it's just like, nah. That's how it happened most of the time. Whenever you are waiting, it does not happen. But when you even initially forget about it, it just happened. And when it happened most of the time, you are more clear with yourself. You're more in your energy, whereby you can discern whether this is something that you want to continue with or not. It's the same thing with relationship. You need to use discernment. There are people that like you can tell I need to wait, but it doesn't mean just because you're waiting for them, Now you're supposed to be like, I'm waiting for. No, you can still continue with your life. Do things that you want to do individually, do whatsoever, do things that you want, not just because we're friends now, we're supposed to always being around one another, or maybe I'm not gonna do this until my friend come back. For example, there are plenty of things that you wish to do with a friend, but if a friend is not yet there yet, or the friend, you can tell they're still going through some things or whatsoever, you just do that with yourself. You don't have to do everything with your person, whether your friend or whoever. Don't wait for people, like waiting, because that it's stagnant the whole manifestation itself. Sometimes you even think like you are waiting for your friend, and when that friend came back, or that ex come back, you'll realize you don't even want that person back in your life. Like for example, like the twin flame thing, like in a spiritual community, I was once hooked into it. Yo, like the twin flame in a spiritual community, I was hooked in it. Like, it wasted my precious time. The thing is, I realized when you're actually thinking about like someone, probably that you feel like it is actually your twin flame. But I'm not saying to other people it's not really a twin flame. Just that my experience was like that. So when I was actually thinking about someone, I realized I was not even thinking about those people. It's them who were thinking about me. How do you know that it's not you who actually thinking about them? It's them thinking about. It's whereby you see them in other people. Like for example, when you're watching TV, you'll be like, how this person look like who? Or maybe like a number that remind you of them, or whatsoever. I was not even thinking about. I knew that the decision that I made, it was the right decision, that I did it. I choose to disconnect with this person. I knew that he was not my twin flame whatsoever. But when the thing is, I was not being able to actually, even today, like there was someone who was actually thinking about me, and then the whole day I was thinking about her until she called. And when she called, I'm like, fuck, oh, that's why I was. It's like that. Whenever, sometimes you would think like you're thinking about someone, but that someone is actually thinking about you. So you find yourself thinking like maybe whatsoever, and then you select those tarot reading whereby they're talking about your twin flame whatsoever, and then it's just because the thing is with tarot, it's about energy. It's about the current energy that you are in right now, future energy whatsoever. And sometimes it's your thought, or maybe the person that you're actually thinking about ended up manifesting in terms of you being able to have like an like for example, like most tarot readers that I came across were talking about twin flames. It was because my energy, I didn't separate my energy uh, uh, far away from the other person. So what happened is I ended up manifesting with their energy instead of rising above it. Because the thing is, when you are not aware of how much your vibration is like, when you're not aware of how much your energy is like, for example, like sometimes I find it hard to separate my energy and the other people's energy. So you tend to go in other people's energy without even realizing, until you be like, nah, this is not my energy. Because why, when you're writing it down, like for example, I journal down my feelings most of the time, because sometimes it's hard to actually know what exactly is it about me. So I write down like, oh, do I actually want this person? Why this person actually reject them? Why, like if like the lot of know why I rejected him was more like longer than why I should reconnect with them. I just know that I made the right decision, but obvious most of them I don't journal down. But the fact that you are in my mind, sometimes I need to separate my energy from you, because sometimes we think about someone and the next thing they call. That's how I am when I'm thinking about someone. They call, or maybe like I don't have people right now in my life that can say I want them to stay forever. I don't have anyone in my life that I can say this is a forever person, this is a forever friend, this is a forever family member. No, I don't. I just know that like the relationship is already expired. It doesn't need to be constantly be trying to get back onto. I just know I'm done with these people and I'm good. So to have someone in the past that you already, because the thing is with me, I I think like I tend to be on my own most of the time. So that doesn't not that give me a lot of time to actually know what is exactly up with this person, why I choose to not to reconnect with this person. So I know myself, like I do fucking know myself when it's come to making decisions with people. I've never made a mistake when I disconnect with someone, because most of the time it's just a gut feel with disconnect, and I know I made like the best decision ever. But the fact that this person now is in my energy, there's a high possibility that person is actually think about me, and then I ended up living in their energy. You be thinking like, oh, I mean, like, oh, like I don't even miss this person. Like, why in my energy? But eventually, you may find out. Okay, this is it. This is it. So don't be like that. Don't be like a person who won't be able to separate their energy and the other people person's energy. Sometimes you think like you want your ex, just but it's just your ego. So don't wait for anyone. I don't recommend you waiting for anyone. If someone is giving this energy, accept it and move on. But use discernment. Use discernment. Even if you use discernment, make sure that yourself first.